Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen. My name is Josh, and in the virtual studio today is a fellow coach and a friend of mine. And I attended his Mile High Profit Summit conference in near Denver last September. And I am a student of conferences. I think they're very impactful if you do them on purpose. And it was very easy for me to walk away from that week and know that that was one of the best conferences and best group of people that I've ever been with. And the guy that I've got in the virtual studio today is the founder of the Contractor Fight, the developer of the Mile High Profit Summit, and his name is Tom Reber. And we've had Tom on the podcast long ago. Mm-hmm. I've grown a lot since then. Tom's grown a lot since then, and I'm excited to get into some of that. So, Tom, good to see you. Thank you for being here, brother.
I appreciate you having me. It's good to catch up again, man.
I tell you what, the energy, I want to talk about the Mile High Profit Summit because you've got one coming up in September again. Anyone listening needs to sign up. I know is there a limited capacity this year?
Right around 500.
Okay.
Yeah. And last year we were at 430 or something like that. So it'll be right around that 500 mark. We've tweaked a few things this year. And by the way, thanks for saying all that nice stuff earlier about Mile High, man. It's the day after Mile High is over, we basically take a day to breathe, and then we start thinking about the next year and planning the next year. And the 2024 theme is the strategic contractor. So everything's going to be around strategy and all that stuff. This year, 2023 is Sell Unafraid. It's all about scoring points, and we're adding a few things. We're adding I can't spill the beans yet because I haven't even announced it, but it's we have a VIP Elite Day that we're adding this year for up to 20 people, and that's going to happen the day before the actual event kicks off, and then which is a Tuesday, and then the event kicks off on a Wednesday. Okay. And goes for 3 days. So we're doing that. This will be the first year that we're doing some breakout sessions. We felt it was time for that. The first 2 years of this, we wanted to keep everybody together. Mm-hmm. But this topic and the theme this year and all that we want to accomplish is just going to require some breakouts and stuff. So good. Yeah, so we're excited, man. It's coming up fast.
I'm excited, and I have every intention and plan to be in there again this year. And for anyone that's like, oh, I don't know about conferences. Here's the simple truth of it. You want to be in a room with 500 people that get shit done, that are like-minded, that are grinding it out every day, becoming better leaders, better salespeople, better business owners, leading better lives. It is absolutely the conference that you want to be at. So that's my plug for you. Like, people really do need to fucking sign up. I left that conference, Tom, and I'm like, whatever the world has in store for me, like, I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
And you leave with that sense of confidence, and then the camaraderie. And this is something that I really do appreciate about the Contractor Fight in general, is the community that you guys build through Battleground, through the conferences, through the Facebook groups. Everything that you're doing is about introducing people to other people like them that can help them be successful.
Thank you. Yeah. And I would say to people, when you go to conferences and stuff like that, one of the reasons we do it is, there's only so much you can do virtually. And a lot of the magic at a conference, you guys, if you've never been to one, happens in the hallway, having a conversation with somebody. It's not always from the main stage or a breakout, right? And it's those side conversations over a tequila or something, and I just think back to my life going to events and stuff, that some of the most biggest aha moments, if you want to use that phrase, had nothing to do with anything other than a conversation I had in the gym working out with somebody or whatever it might be. And I think what I'm proud of is and this is funny because this year we were for 2023, last year when we were thinking about this, we were planning or having the conversation around planning it to be a much larger event, like in the thousands. And we decided that we'd rather do the slow grow, keep the intimacy, because I think that's one of the special things, you mentioned the community and stuff. That's one of the special things about Mile High is it's, even though there's several hundred people in the room, it's a pretty intimate event. And I don't mean like candles and, scented diffusers and things like that, you guys. I mean, just real talk, right? Mm-hmm. And, we'll fill a stadium at some point, but,
right.
Fight Fest or something, we'll call it.
The authenticity of that conference is one of the things that's attracting me to come back and use the word, intimate. And it's not about holding hands and candles and scents. It really is an emotional roller coaster, drive shit home, kind of in your face, but it's all real. It's authentic. And you're not sitting in there, as a member of the audience. I never sat there one time and felt that, oh, they're just trying to get me to follow them on Instagram, or they're just trying to sell me a plug and play package. It's all about real time, real application with real people. And some of the people that I got to connect with, like Bubba Hogan, who is just an absolute salt of the earth human being, and, getting to kind of follow his journey and stuff now. But it really was about the interaction with people, and then getting to talk to people about how getting a coach, plugging themselves into the contractor fight, building this community has completely altered their life for the greater good. It's changed their story. It's changed their narrative. It's changed their business. They're actually making money now. I learned and gained a tremendously new experience for general contractors. Just the role of a GC, because I got to meet 100 different GCs that do it correctly.
Yeah.
And that was a complete game changer for me. And that was something I greatly appreciated about that.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing all that. Yeah. And hat tip to our team, because after the first year, they told me that I was no longer needed other than just to show up and do my thing. Where I come up with a theme every year, I kind of lay out what I want to see happen, and then I just let it go, and our team behind the scenes rocks it, man. So I know that means a lot. Thank you.
It definitely hat off to the team. So you were on stage multiple times, obviously, but one of the things that you brought to the stage was kind of changing your story and changing your narrative. You came off stage. I walked to the back of the room and I came up to you and was like, hey, I want you back on the podcast, and this is exactly what I want to talk about. And you so graciously agreed, and here we are today on Memorial Day, and making this recording. So when I think about the way that I talk and the things that I listen to, I hear people say, man, you need to change your story. You got to change your narrative. That's how you change your results. People say, change your standards. That'll change your life. And it sounds really good, but a lot of people kind of present it as this fortune cookie, message. When I saw you on stage, I knew, okay, Tom is the guy that I wanted to have a discussion with about how to do that. What is the kind of the playbook of changing your story, changing your narrative? What does that look like? So that's the conversation I want to dive in. So just jumping into that, how do you want to kick off?
That's a lot.
I'm just trying to find a starting spot here.
Well, and it's funny, like this is, probably not totally to do with your question, but just, it was funny. Yesterday I was working out, and I was just thinking, the journey that the fight has been on, that I've been on for the last decade, less than a decade, actually, officially. And I remember at one point, man, I just asked myself, how the hell did this happen? And the reason I say that to start answering your question is I think if I'm just being we talk all the time in the fight about owning your crap, right? And not enough time about owning your greatness, because we're all great at something. And so I just kind of pulled back, and I'm like, I think one of the things I did right, and this applies to changing your story, is I just made the choice to just keep showing up every day and be a little bit better than yesterday, be a little more aware, a little more, mentally tough, whatever it might be. And so the way we built the fight was you and I, before we hit record here, we're talking about our podcast. So like, you just keep showing up. You don't feel like it. You show up. Right. And so, and those wins compound over time. So to start this, how do you change your story thing? I just want to encourage people, like, don't get consumed with the big picture. Like, I don't know if you know Cameron Harold. He's been on my podcast a couple times. He wrote books like Double Double and things like that. Vivid Vision. He's the guy that took 1-800-GOT-JUNK from like 2 million to 106 million in 6 years or something like that. Something crazy. And he'll tell you, when he works with a company to create a vision, he only goes 3 years. He's like, because it's still kind of real. 1 year's too much or too little, and 3 years is about the right amount of time. Where a lot of people go, I have this big, hairy, audacious goal that's out there, right? And they get overwhelmed by it because it's not real in the moment. So I guess I want to start by just encouraging people, just, project out a little bit and really go take some time to get really clear on, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What do I want to look like, feel like? When I open my bank app, what do I want to see in there? And then realize that the results that you have, I'm going to reverse engineer this. The results you have, let me write it down so I don't screw it up. Results are the product of our actions. Our actions come from what we believe, and our beliefs are rooted in what we tell ourselves. And so we have a thing in the fight called T-bar. If I flip it, your thoughts guide your beliefs guide your actions get you your results. And so if you want to change your stories, you have to change your thoughts. And the reason we want to change your story is you want to have better results. I mean, just it's as simple as that. And so we are bombarded our whole life with story after story after story. I grew up where Rebers never made money. That was the story. Rich people were dicks, or a story somebody might be telling themselves right now, subconsciously, by the way, is because most of our thoughts are subconscious. We have around 60,000 a day. And, if you're not intentional about what you put in there, all that old baggage is gonna hit you. So you might be telling yourself, I can't find anybody who wants to work in my city, or can't charge those prices in my industry or my area, or as a GC, there's no way I can get a 50% gross profit as a GC. And so you're going to believe what you tell yourself is really, I guess, the heart of this. So be careful of what you tell yourself. In fact, I think there was a book, I might butcher the name, probably 20 years ago, that was written called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, or something like that. I'm butchering the title, but and I never read it. I just remember hearing about it. But it's so true, because what you focus on, you get more of. And so in the sense of changing your story, I guess, I spoke to a group of really high level contractors a couple weeks ago, at a smaller event. And, one of the things I shared was, if you're not getting what you want, and remember the context of my group, these were guys that were already successful. Like, they're not living, check to check. Like, this is the average income in the group was, I think, 10 or 12 million bucks. And so I said, if you're stuck, if you need different results, if you just feel like, man, what's the issue? It's one of two things. Number one, you're not familiar enough with your dream of who you want to be, how you want to show up, because we are pulled towards things that we're more familiar with. We've talked about the reticular activating system in our brain, right? And all that stuff. So the more familiar you are with something, you're going to get more of that. That's number one. And number two, I told the group was a lot of people, when they have a degree of success, they're winning. They had a record sales month, whatever. As you know, one of my coaches says, you get seduced by your success. You think you've arrived. You think you don't. And I posed a question to the group on that point I was making. I said, how do you choose to show up after you win? A lot of times, in fact, this morning on my walk, I was listening to some podcast, and he's like, how do you show up when you have adversity? And I'm like, that's the question that everybody always asks. How do you handle adversity? Well, I think we need to start asking, how do you handle success? You know, because if you feel like, okay, now I got a couple more zeros in the bank account, now you start telling yourself the story that you've arrived, that this is good enough, then what are you going to get more of? And so all that to say, it all starts with our thoughts, and I think it's surrounding yourself with people who are going to call you out on your thoughts and your BS. I've caught myself a few times, and we were talking about my CEO earlier, Neil. Neil calls me out on BS all the time. Like, something will come out of my mouth, and he's like, "Did you really just say that?" And I'm like, "Shit, man, you're right. I was just unaware. I wasn't aware of what was really going on in there." So I really wish I had like some 6 or 3-step formula of how to change your story, but I think it starts with most things, which is clarity. Mm-hmm. And then, so let's create it right now. What do you say? We'll create the 3-step process right now. All right. If I'm just looking back, it started with clarity. This is who I want to be. Mm-hmm. I'm finally going to plant my flag and go, all right, I'm going to be the one in the Reber family line that finally changes this shit. Right? Like, this is who I want to be. This is the life that I want. This is the relationship that I want. And I've become very familiar with those things because I focus on them like crazy every day. And then the second is intentional, right? Let's be intentional about our thoughts. And I promise you, when you're intentional about your thoughts, with the third point here is consistency. See, I knew there was a 3-step plan here somewhere there. Consistency of focusing on who I want to be, being intentional about what I'm allowing into my brain, and learning to catch myself and reframe, and doing that consistently over time, then your beliefs change. So let me give you an example everybody can relate to. Like, I can't charge these prices. If that's what you're thinking and saying to yourself over and over and over and over, when you hear guys like you or me go, no, you need to raise your prices, you need to blah, blah, blah. And, whatever, people, like, money's like 6th or 7th on the list when people buy shit. There's all these other factors to build trust and connection and this and that. But if all you're doing is feeding yourself, man, there's no way they're going to go for this price. There's no way. That becomes a belief. And what I found is you do not act in conflict with what you believe. Like, if I don't believe it's possible to raise my prices, I'm not going to take the action to raise my prices. If I believe it's possible that I can raise my prices, or if I believe it's possible that I can have a 15-minute pre-qualification phone call with a prospect to get to the motive and the budget and all the other things that we teach, if I believe that's possible, then I'm going to act on those things. But your belief only gets there when you are intentional about those thoughts. Now, here's the other thing. We all have, you said this a minute ago, we all have those days where we don't feel like doing the thing we feel like doing, whether it's recording a podcast or whatever. I don't feel like job costing this project. I don't feel like doing a sales role play. I don't feel like putting in the work to know my numbers. That's where I was going to say concept, I just think it's a proven fact, I've talked about for years, is success is inconvenient and doesn't care how you feel. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to think and magically believe. You might have that thought like, I know I should raise my price, but I can't raise my price. I know I should raise my price. And and it's not becoming a belief. Well, part of the reason it doesn't become a belief is that at the right times, you don't just ignore how you feel and take the action and raise your damn price, because sometimes the do, like just pulling the trigger, and the do is going to create confidence and belief. Mm-hmm. So I think they're a little intertwined there.
I'm going to add some subparts to your 3-step process there, because I do want to kind of jump into the clarity, the first step, and I agree with those. And you have to have that clarity, you have to have that intentionality, you have to have that consistency. Part of the recipe that people forget or neglect in the clarity role is where they currently are.
Yeah.
In challenging their own beliefs. Why do I think this is what it is? Why do I believe this? And challenging their own beliefs. And what I witnessed and have experienced and seen is people will do that when they fail miserably. They will allow the adversity or the failure or the mistake to amplify. You made some decisions that got you here, right? Yeah. Failure is a result, just like success is a result. But why did I make the decisions that got me there? Why did I believe those things that created that result? I think you have to be intimately clear about where you currently are. What is your relationship and beliefs with money? What are your relationship and beliefs with leadership? What are your beliefs about your health and how that impacts your mental state? Being so self-aware or introspective in the fact that you can sit down with people, and I love that point that you made, being around people that are willing to challenge you and call you out on your bullshit. So sit down with yourself or with those 1 or 2 people and really ask yourself the hard questions. Allow them to ask the hard questions and challenge your behaviors and your thoughts. But take that in a constructive way to go, okay, this is currently what I'm doing. Why do I think that way? Let's reverse engineer it. Let's break it down. And then let's course correct or come up with something new. The new may not be better, but it's going to be different. So now you're collecting data about behavior and decisions and thoughts. So I think that's to add to 1 and then 1.A, right, a sub point under your first step to the process there is creating that intimate clarity with where you currently are and challenging your own beliefs and thought processes.
100%. And I think it's, you get clear on what you want, just like you said, and then it's own your crap. Why am I not there? Mm-hmm. Why don't I have the bank account? Why haven't I built the team? Why fill in the blank? Why am I not in better shape? Why is my marriage not where I want it to be, or whatever the target is? And so, and owning your crap isn't about feeling bad about yourself. It's like looking at the game film. Sometimes you need to others. I'll occasionally pull somebody I'm close to aside, and I'll just go, "Hey, this area here of leadership in the fight, or whatever it might be, why do you think I continue to drop the ball in this area? Meaning, my intention is this, but apparently it's coming across a different way. What am I missing here?" Just be, like you said, just be open to the fact that other people have a different point of view. Mm-hmm. And that, again, to beat this over the head 1,000 times, this is why relationships are so important. And you got to have relationships where, number one, you welcome that and you don't put people in the doghouse for telling you the truth. And number two, where you're going to take it seriously and act on it. I've seen a lot of leaders how can I be a better leader? And then they don't do shit with it. Mm-hmm. Right. So, this whole change your story, get what you want, all this other stuff. It's really simple in concept. Right. It is. I agree. It's like idiot proofed, but I think we overcomplicate things because we tell ourselves we're special, our situation is unique, or whatever it is, and it's really not. You're a human being. You run a business. Yeah, you might have a past trauma. You might have shit that, we've all gone through in the past that forms who we are, but that doesn't give you the license to keep being the way you are. If you're going to say, I want this thing, like you brought up money mindset. What do I believe about money? Okay. Well, before you determine what you believe about money, let's get to what are you telling yourself about money? Right? like reapers don't make money. Money doesn't grow on trees. It's hard to make money. Got to spend money to make money. All these things that are out there, challenge those things. Is that really true? Do I really believe that? You know, somebody I'm close to the other day said, it's just hard. Everything's always going to be hard. Life's always going to be hard. And I said, it will if that's where you put your focus, if you're looking for the hard, And then I helped this person reframe it. I said, listen, what's the truth? Let's just tell ourselves the truth. Is every minute of every day of your life a toil? No. Okay. Well, then life is not just always hard. There are moments where we get, throat punched or something unexpected or circumstances pop up, but you still have a choice in those moments. And I'm not, it's funny because some people are like, oh, when a challenge comes, when I say like welcome the challenges and do the hard, it's not like you do it with a great attitude. I don't. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I got to deal with this now. Shit. Well, let's go. Roll your sleeves up and let's plow through this thing. So don't confuse like I welcome challenges and adversity because that's when I grow and I'm all excited about it. I'm the last person that wants, to get hijacked each day with something,
I think a lot of the lacking attraction is it's not sexy. The simple things that we're discussing, whether it's adversity or success, it's not sexy. And people want to feel sexy about what they're doing. And that's something else that you have to get over in your mind. There's never a single time where I'm in the middle of a workout and I'm happy that I'm there. I'm fucking dying and I'm trying to figure out, all right, what do I need to do just to keep moving forward and not allow the narrative of quitting to come in. But it's not sexy. Now, the results can be sexy.
Right.
But doing the work, the discipline itself, the feeling of it is not sexy. I think with business, with relationships, with personal, people, they invest a lot into the feel of sexy. They depend a lot on motivation. And if it's not there that day, they don't want to perform. They don't want to show up.
Yeah.
And it would be hypocritical of me to sit here and not be like, oh yeah, I've absolutely got my teeth kicked in. There's days where I'm just like, I want to fucking quit. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I don't know why I'm doing this, but connecting myself back to that narrative of what I'm trying to do, why I'm trying to do it, that intentionality of showing up every day, that's what overcomes the negative narrative of wanting to quit and give up.
Well, when you fight through things, your confidence grows, right? And so when you tell yourself you're going to honor a commitment and you honor the commitment regardless of how you feel, you're more confident and it's less of an issue the next time. I mean, I'm to the point now, where I did the whole 75 hard, live hard program in 2022. And then now every quarter, I'm in like day 21 right now. I do 30 days of 75 hard every quarter now. And last night, I had to get my second workout and I was wiped, man. We've had our two youngest daughters. We have a blended family. The queen and I and our two youngest are the same age. So within a 10-day period, we've had 2 graduations, 2 parties. We've had, there was other things going on too. I can't remember, but it's just been a crazy. And this past Saturday, just a couple days ago, was the last of all those things. And it was one of the parties. And we had, 40 people or over or whatever. And yesterday, dude, and I'm not drinking or anything right now, right? So I woke up yesterday with a hangover, just like an emotional hangover, just wiped out, tired, didn't feel like doing a thing. And I'm like, if I don't get this first workout in quick this morning, it's going to be a bitch of a day. And I went and did it, threw on a 60-pound vest and went 2.5 miles or 3 miles, whatever it is. And then last night, my next workout, I remember going, I mean, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just wiped. You're like, there's nothing in me that wants to do this. And I remember saying to myself, the time is going to pass anyway tonight. So on the other end of the time, what are you going to wish you would have done? You know? And I'll tell you, I got about, you got to do a 45-minute workout a couple times a day. And I was at about, I rolled back home from the workout. I was outside working out, and it was probably 47 minutes that I went. I did another vest walk yesterday. Did 2 of those, big cardio today. Dude, the minute I got home and took the vest off, I'm like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? You never regret working out. You never regret eating right. You never regret not drinking the night before.
Mm-hmm.
100%. You never regret doing a sales role play. You never regret job costing. Now you might regret the results of the job costing, right? But you don't regret doing it. So, and so I guess this is what I want to encourage people with. One of the things is I want you to just peel back for a second and ask yourself, what's on the other end of my next decade? What's on the other end of 10 years from now? You might be brand new in business. You might be at the tail end of your business, but a decade is going to pass. And I believe you're going to end up in one of 2 places at the end of that decade. The first, which sadly, probably not people listening to this, because if they're listening to something like this, I think they're an uncommon human being, right? Mm-hmm. When they're trying to get better, they're reading books or whatever. But most human beings, if you go at the end of the next decade, they're going to end up what I call the prey, right? They've become an expert on what they don't have, what they don't know, and what they can't do. They're the victim of the economy, recessions, inflation, circumstances, their past. And sadly, they've just made the choice to be the prey over the next 10-year run. And I was the prey for a long time until I decided to plant my flag on this shit that we're talking about. And, I was sabotaged by riding the short bus and being in special ed and bankruptcy and a bunch of other shit through my life until I made the decision to walk into the punch. And that was probably about 12 years ago. And when I look, like I shared earlier, I'm like, how the hell did this happen? I looked back at this barely 10-year run of the fight, and this is not to go, oh, great job, Tom, because anybody could do this, all right? But you guys, I made the choice instead of to be the prey, to be the fucking lion, okay? And I literally said, I am going to be the hero. Go to Joe Rogan's YouTube channel, right? You're the hero of your own story. Mm-hmm. Watch that video, right? And I made the choice that I'm just this mediocre life and performance and bullshit that has plagued our family for generations is fucking stopping here. I'm going to be the one that's going to inspire the family. I'm going to be the one that's going to put it on my back. I'm going to be the one that show them what it's really like to be able to experience the shit you want, regardless of where you come from and all that other stuff. And so I made the choice that I'm going to be the one that makes the money. I'm going to have an amazing relationship. I'm going to be in shape. Mm-hmm. And so where you land in 10 years, you guys, is going to be really just the accumulation of the choices that you make today. And the choices you make today go all the way back to what we said earlier. They start with your thoughts. Be intentional. Just be intentional. And listen, it doesn't have to be if you go, I'm making the choice that I'm going to be a millionaire in the next 5 years. Okay? All right. That's a good start. However, don't sit there and do these affirmations where you look in the mirror and go, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. Because your brain, I forget, there's a book called, I forget the name of it. But anyway, he's talking about affirmations. It's way over on my bookshelf and I can't reach it now. He talks about a mistake that a lot of people do with affirmations is they go, I am a millionaire, when you got 7 cents in your bank account, right? Or if you're 400 pounds and you're telling yourself, I am 200 pounds, lean and chiseled. The problem with those types of affirmations is your brain knows you're full of shit because it's seeing you in the mirror. It's looking at your bank account. So instead, when you do these affirmations, what I do is what he recommended in this book was I am excited to be working towards being a millionaire. I'm excited to be taking steps today to work towards being 200 pounds and chiseled, and I'm not embarrassed to take my shirt off. Okay. I'm attach some emotion to it, because that is a true statement. Okay. I'm a millionaire when you got 7 cents is not a true statement when you go, I'm a millionaire. But when you say, I'm excited to work today towards being a millionaire by the time I'm X age, right? Or whatever it is. Or I'm excited to build my net worth to this, or I'm excited to have this sort of a marriage, or whatever. Yeah. And it puts you in the moment and allows you to control the moment, but it tells you the truth. And when your brain tells you the truth, doubt is less likely to pop in. It's this whole cool thing in the book. What the hell's the name of it? What was the book? There was The Secret, but it's not The Secret. What the fuck is the oh my God. I use this phrase like 1,000 times a week, and I can't remember the name of the book, and I can't even see it from here. So anyway, I'll figure out what it is. I'll text you. But it's a super easy read, but he just takes the whole concept of, it's the law of attraction. It's called The Law of Attraction and he's got a weird name. There's a million Law of Attraction books, so I have to give you the right author.
Yeah.
Anyway. People are like, will you fucking get to the point, Tom?
Well, what I'm hearing you say is too often people fall in love with the idea and they're not welcoming to the journey. Mm-hmm. And I think that affirmation that you're talking about, they continue that love, that they continue to fall in love with the idea. But when you have to show up every day and you have to learn finances, you have to understand your relationship with money, you have to understand what you're eating, what you're not eating. And I know, one of the things that I will really commend you on over the few years that I've known you is when you took back the control of your fitness and your physical self. The transformation that I saw in you and in your company has been tremendous. But it's easy to say, I want to lose weight and fall in love with that idea. But when you make the commitment to the journey and the process that it's going to require, that love for the idea fades too often. The other thing is people want to put that shit on Facebook and go, hey guys, today's my first day of a journey. I'm going to lose 100 pounds. And what do they want? They want the vanity metrics because they're in love with the idea. But if you see that person 6 months from now, they haven't posted anything about it. They're still 100 pounds overweight. And when you ask them, it's like, then they barrage you with this narrative, right? But it's really excuses, but they just intoxicate you with this narrative as to why they didn't maintain the consistency. Yeah. They're really telling you that they didn't have the intentionality about it. They just wanted to feel good about the idea of it. So, and like you, I'm very big into fitness, and I'm sure anyone that listens to my podcast gets tired of me talking about it. But it's such a tremendous fuel. It's such a tremendous activator to your mental state. You want to change your mental state, change your physical state. What you said, you never leave the gym pissed that you did a workout.
Yep. So it's funny you kind of brought up this fitness thing. People underestimate the power of taking care of yourself in your business life, in your business results. And I'm not going to go on a big lecture here on it because it sounds like you already do that on your show. So that's good.
I do it a lot.
But it's here's the thing. A lot of people are like, why can't I? This is a hot topic in the trades. Why can't I find people and build a team? Why do people leave? Why can't I, grow my company with the people, right? And having kick-ass people on the team and this and that. It's because you're not kick-ass. All right. You're not attractive as a leader. You're not the type of person that someone wants to be around. You're not the type of person that people, they don't aspire to be like you. You're disorganized. You don't honor the commitments that you make to yourself. It's the old saying, how you do one thing's how you do everything. So when I'm dialed in and success is an inside out game, you guys. I don't care what you're doing. It starts with you, then moves to your family, your close relationships, your team, then your customers and all that other shit. It's inside out. And so most start, I got to build the business and then I'll have time for my family. Then I'll have time for getting in shape. You blow off your hobbies. You don't go to the gym anymore, all the things that you enjoy doing. And then the business is owning your ass because you're not committing to getting oxygen. And that's really what we're talking about. In fact, I had somebody a while back that used to work for me that struggled with their weight, started and stopped, programs all the time. And I had a very strong, I did it with it. I normally don't do this, but I didn't want it to come out. So I wrote something and I sent it to this person, but I edited it over a couple days because I'm a little in your face and I wanted to make sure the right spirit came across. And then we followed it up with a phone call. So I just want to but in my message, I'm like, and this was a coach. Okay. This was a coaching position. I said, your effectiveness as a coach is being limited because you haven't followed through on your fitness. And I said, you're successful. You're doing a lot of great things. I love you. I got your back. But dude, you gotta see this through. And if you don't see it through, it's going to limit your impact because I know you're in this because you want to have an impact in the world, and it's going to limit your impact because when you're calling guys out for not having their fucking strategic plan ready or not job costing or not doing their role plays, I guarantee you in the back of their mind, they're going, well, you ain't all fucking dialed in either. And this doesn't mean we have to be perfect, you guys.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But me, and you brought this up with, my journey, like, I broke my foot on day 37 of 75 hard last year. And I broke it on one of my run walk things with my vest. I dragged my ass home half a mile. Okay. I walked in the door. I'm like dragging my foot behind me. And the queen looks at me. She goes, what the hell did you do? I said, I think I broke my foot. I felt and heard it pop and this and that. I said, so I got to go get it looked at. And she goes, first thing out of her mouth, this is my first thought when I broke it too, so we were totally on the same page. She goes, well, it looks like you got to modify your workouts now. Where most people go, oh, I broke my foot, so I got to heal, and then I can keep going on 75 hard. I'm like, no, the mission stays the same, you guys. The circumstances changed. I can still do push-ups. I can still do sit-ups. I can do abs. I can do dumbbells. I can do a number of other things. Mm-hmm. And so I finished that, and then in the next phase 1, I had really bad COVID for like 4 or 5 days. And I have seen person after person tap out when they get a little sniffle or they hurt themselves or whatever. And guys, this is why you're not more impactful in your business. Mm-hmm. This is why you can't recruit people. This is why you're not making the money that you want to make. It's all connected. How you show up. We talked about how do you show up after you win. Well, this is how you showing up when there's adversity, mm-hmm. right? When there's adversity, are you looking at it as an opportunity to tap out and an excuse that you can lean on? Oh, it's the holidays, or we're traveling a lot, so I'm not going to work out today, or whatever it is. No, that just means like when I was traveling a lot with 75 hard through the whole year, live hard, and even now, dude, when I have an early morning flight, you got to get 2 workouts in, especially when I fly to the East Coast from Colorado here, I lose 2 hours. So I do my first workout at 12:01 a.m. Then I go to bed, and then I catch my flight, and then I travel, and then I land, I get to the hotel, and I do my second workout. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to plan it. You have to, you find a way. You don't find a fucking excuse.
Right.
And so, and this is not about being a fitness model. Okay. This is not about being a bodybuilder. This is about, you got this machine, and you say you have all these goals and dreams for your business and income and relationships and stuff like that. Why the hell wouldn't you take care of the machine and make sure the engine's running at max performance for you? I mean, dude, I got called a toxic male at an event earlier this year in the event feedback. I did. There was like 5, 6, 700 people in the room. I gave this 15-minute talk on winning the moments. And it was an industry that I'm familiar with. I knew a lot of people in the room. I've known them for many, many years. And I got up there and I said, guys, one of the issues I have is I know a lot of you guys. I've known you for 15, 20 years. And flat out, some of you guys are just fat. Mm-hmm. You wonder why your business isn't growing. You're a fat ass. And then I probably pushed it when I said, let's just, if not for the sake of your business, how about the sake of your spouse? If you were your spouse, would you want to hang on your fat arm? and I could say it was funny. A little while later, I got they sent me feedback because they do feedback on the events, and there were three women actually, surprisingly, that called me out in the event feedback saying, don't ever have this guy back. He's a toxic male. And, I know his comment was directed to the men, but that's inappropriate. No, guys, that's part of the fucking problem in our world right now.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just back up to even a bigger macro level, huge macro level here. We can't fucking recruit people to our military because they can't fucking do a sit-up. Mm-hmm. We can't protect our country because they can't fucking run. Dude, I coached high school football for 17 years. My last year of coaching, I think, was 20. I resigned after the 20. What was it? 16. So 17, 18, 19. After the 2019 season, I resigned. I'd have 80 guys on the field, high school kids. Okay, now they would come to us, especially the freshmen and the sophomores. We'd line up on the field, and I would go down in what I called the Filipino squat. When I was in the military, I was in the Marine Corps. You go overseas, you go to Asian countries. You know how they all squat down, mm-hmm. and their buttholes like on the ground. They can get that deep in a squat. I would squat like that on the field. I said, everybody do what I'm doing. Dude, more than half the kids couldn't fucking do it.
Yep.
Okay? No ankle flexion, and they have no hip mobility. They're fucking fat. They're soft. Mm-hmm. And so, fuck you if you think I'm a toxic male. Because part of our problem, we're not defending our country the way we need to. Yep. I was just talking to a friend of mine who served 33 years in the Army at a very high level. Just the other night at one of these graduation parties I was telling you about. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? He's like, it is so crazy how soft people are, mm-hmm. mentally and physically coming in, that we got to, he says, he's 55 years old. He had the top run time in his whole battalion at 55 years old. Okay, now this isn't Tom going, young people are shitheads and all this. This is just saying that our culture, because we can't tell people the truth. Hey, fucker, you're fat. Okay?
Yep.
I mean, dude, my wife will tell me. I don't tell her. I'd never say that. But
dude, I've met your wife. If you ever said she's fat, she should hit you. Yeah, your wife is tiny.
Yeah, she ain't fat. She does Pilates like twice a day. She's a horse trainer. She's in shape, man. And I mean, she literally has like a 6-pack abs, and mm-hmm. she's 58 years old. Mm-hmm. Okay, and she puts 30-year-old chicks to fucking shame. So anyway, my point is, she'll come up to me and she's like, "Hey, when you start in another 30 days?" And I look at her, I go, "Is that your way of telling me that I'm getting a little chunky around the waist again?" And she's like, "No, but you're about to." And that's my cue. I'm like, "Hey, it's time to dial this in." And so I need people in my life telling me the truth. But part of our problem in our businesses, our families, our world, and I'm gonna vamp on this for 30 seconds. Men aren't fucking men. Okay, men in my book doesn't mean you have to be able to kick somebody's ass in MMA. It doesn't mean you have to go in the military. Okay, but can you fucking change a tire? Right? Can you lift a 100-pound thing off the ground? Can you shake hands with confidence? Can you look someone in the eye? Guys, all these things come in part from physical challenges where your confidence is built. You know how it is. You could be 300 pounds right now, 300 pounds overweight. You go to the gym right now, get a little pump, you already feel better.
Yes.
Right? You could be fat as fuck and get a little pump ed, and you walk out of the gym with your chest puffed out a little more, right? There's a confidence there. And then you keep stacking those wins. And you talked earlier about people don't want the process. They don't want to follow the process. I'm about to do a video. What did I call this thing here, man? Because I was in rare form the other day. I was saying, yeah, you're seeking answers, but you're avoiding the effort. Right? You want the answers, but you avoid the effort. So, this is a message for the guys, and ladies, don't get butthurt. All right, but take care of yourself. Right? My God, your bank account is attached to your physical fitness. And what I mean by physical fitness, last thing I'll say on this, back to, you don't have to look like a fitness model or bodybuilder, but are you doing your best? You might have a health issue, right? A legit health issue. All right, I'll give you a real example. One of my sons who's in the Marine Corps got the fucking jab. They made him as a little private PFC get the fucking jab, and his heart's fucked up, and he has a hard time. And all my kids are adopted, and his birth family, they have the fat gene, so it's really easy for him to get fat. Okay, and I'm like, dude, he gets out this week. By the way, he's getting out of the Corps. I said, dude, you might not be able to do fucking 100 burpees like you used to, because he runs from here to the other end of the room and his heart's about to explode. His blood, his heart rate's through the roof. All right. And I'm fucking pissed about it because I told him not to get the fucking shot. I said, you have a choice. No, I don't. I'm a private. I'm like, trust me, I've been in the Marine Corps. You don't have to fucking, will kick me out. I said, it's better than living with this shit for the rest of your life. But of course, what the fuck do I know? So you can see I'm really amped on this one. But anyway, I said, okay, well, your new normal is you got to figure out what your best is every day. And your best is going to include seriously eating right. Okay. And lifting weights. Okay. If you lift weights, you're going to burn more fat. You're going to tone up, all that other shit. You don't have to be a cardio machine and running like crazy like the Marine Corps like you were and all this other shit. But my point is, everybody has, not everybody, but certain people have a health issue. They have a disability, whatever it is, but it doesn't give you a fucking hall pass to not work on yourself to the best of your ability. And when you do that, mental toughness is forged, right? And that's what our world lacks in business and society, the military, all this other shit, right? Is mental toughness. All right, I'm done. I promise.
Let me tell you why I was laughing through that rant. Was the podcast that comes out today, as of this recording, is titled Toxic Masculinity.
Oh, I love it.
When we spend an hour and 10 minutes saying what you just said in 10, and talking about the narrative, the fitness, the, being a man, that's attack on masculinity, and when you said that there were some ladies in the crowd, I agree with you. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You just need to be fit. What is your definition of fit? What is your best version of fit? But this whole dad bod thing, right?
Oh my God.
It's like, to me, that is a justification for her to not have to be in shape because she loves her man for this whole fucking dad bod. That shit drives me nuts. It's like you're just hiding behind an excuse to not take care of yourself. So you fucking call me a toxic male if you want. One of the non-negotiables for me in a relationship is fitness.
Yeah. Yep. 100% has to be. And you're going to tell me, okay, ladies out there, and I'll speak to you, a few of you that might listen to this. All right. If your man's a little chunky, out of shape, isn't strong, all this other shit, are you really going to tell me you enjoy his fat ass climbing on you?
That's right.
All right. Seriously, let's get real here for a second.
Absolutely.
There's no fucking way that you wouldn't rather have a guy that was a little bit in better shape, holding your hand, opening the door for you. And not, I understand, not just the physical, you guys. It's the confidence that comes with it. There it is,
the confidence. The confidence in your
dude,
man.
You brought it up because you brought up the fitness stuff with me. I've had people come up to me and go, dude, what the fuck are you on right now? Because it's like you walk into the room and you own it like never before. And it's not because I'm 30 pounds down. I mean, that's part of it. It's the mental game that has come with that. It's no one can take that fucking work from me because I trust the process. And when I have a day where I fuck up and I don't follow the process, I wake up the next day and I go, new day, let's go. I don't have 2 bad days in a row. Okay. I rarely have 1 bad day.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I do, I'm like, oh, that's unacceptable. I'm not proud of myself with that one.
and you have a bad moment in an area.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not the whole fucking day's not bad. You have a bad moment in one area of your life. You still have the ability to control the result of everything else, the other areas of your life. And that's the thing is the weights don't lie. You can't hide from the weights. You can't hide from the pull-ups. You cannot hide from the gym. I don't care if you go in and you get on a fucking Stairmaster for 15 minutes a day. If that's where you have to start to begin this journey and to begin to change this narrative, then you go get on the fucking Stairmaster for 15 minutes. Don't even touch a weight. I do CrossFit, and I am so anti-barbell for most people. I'm like, you don't need to touch that fucking barbell for a year.
Exactly.
Right? You have no hip mobility, no ankle mobility, no shoulder mobility, and you're picking up a fucking 45-pound barbell and you're throwing even 15s on because you want to look like you know how to lift weight. Don't do that shit. Stay in your fucking lane. Just widen your lane as you go.
Bingo. Do what you can with what you got and don't bullshit yourself. There you go.
Yeah.
And this ties to business. Like I said earlier, like if you're tapping out with the excuses on your health, what do you think you're doing in your preparation to be a business owner as a salesperson? Okay. Like how many mediocre days are you allowing? Stop allowing I did that group I talked to you about. We figured, and I've done this talk for years, and I've had hundreds of conversations with sales teams and this and that, man, when I do these workshops. On average, the average unaware salesperson has about 2 mediocre sales days a week where they're not prospecting to full capacity. They're not following up. They're not role playing. They're not on their game, right? I don't mean just closing a deal. I just mean like they're not all in, controlling what they can control. Take 2 weeks of vacation out, 50 weeks, that's 100 mediocre sales days a year out of 262-ish available sales days. So what, 40% or 35% of the days? Now, here's where this shit gets real. If you have a $3 million sales goal divided by 262 days, that means 11.4 a day is what you're, okay? Well, you got 100 mediocre days. It's actually costing you $1.1 million. The compound effect of that over time.
Absolutely.
Right? So, shit, it ain't, like I said earlier, this is simple. It ain't easy, but it's simple. So, own your shit, take some action, and be consistent.
Tom, one of the things I love about getting to talk with you and see you is I'm ready to go fight and run through a wall right now, and I appreciate that you have that impact on people. Your confidence, what you're doing with the fight, it's all, to be honest, like the contractor fight is what I aspire the tradesman experience to be. And when I have days that I don't think it's working, I watch some of your shit, I look at what you're doing and it reminds me that it's possible.
Yeah.
And, guys like you and I, we're a really, really, really small elite group tackling on a huge issues and concerns in the arenas that we work in. But I appreciate the constant, reminder that you just got to fucking show up every day.
That's right, man.
Anything in closing, my friend?
Man, I just appreciate you having me. If anyone wants to learn more, just head to thecontractorfight.com, and we got all our events and coaching and stuff there. And, I appreciate you having me on again.
Yeah. Dude, I'm looking forward to seeing you in September.
Likewise.
All right. Guys, thank you. You can find Tom, like you said, on the Contractor Fight. I am on Instagram at The Tradesman Experience. Emails thetradesmanexperience@gmail.com. Website's thetradesmanexperience.com. And the YouTube channel is The Tradesman Experience. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Get out there, get shit done. Be proud to be a tradesman. See ya.